Right, good evening. So in the last class, we discussed about various health issues, right? So if you don't follow ICT in a proper way, you can be affected badly in terms of health, right? So there are so many health issues possible, but we discuss them as categories, right? So hope you remember them, remember the names. There is one called musculoskeletal problem, right? So the problems related to muscles and bones are called musculoskeletal. These are experienced because of the bad posture, right? Wrong posture of the computer user. We also discussed about repetitive stress injury, RSI. So RSI is another injury or another health issue which is experienced in from here, from shoulder to fingers, right? So any pain or any right any kind of issue which is experienced in this part of the hand can be RSI. So this is occurred if you do or if you use computer again and again and again, right? So we discussed about RSI. And then we discussed about CTS, carpal tunnel syndrome. So it is a kind of issue which is experienced when that carpal tunnel is pressed, right? Carpal tunnel is a small tunnel in the wrist. So when wrist is pressed, the carpal tunnel also pressed. Inside of the carpal tunnel, there is a median nerve pass through, so that can be affected. So when it is affected, you know, the blood circulation can be affected, right? So we discussed about CTS. And we discussed about CVS, which is computer vision syndrome. So this is related to eyes. So when you don't properly use monitors and other displays, your eyes can be affected. So these are related to CVS, right? Right. So after discussing such things, we went on to take the precautions. So how these are the issues, these are the problems. So then we took the safety things, how to prevent them, how to be safe, right? So rather than taking everything randomly, right, I have taken as categories again, right? So we discussed about how to use monitors. So remember, there are two important things related to monitor when you use them, right? First one, the distance between the eyes and the monitor. Remember, 45 centimeter to 70 centimeter. If it is inch, 18 inch to 28 inch, right? Maybe 16, 26, anything is okay, but approximate values. And also make sure the monitor is little below to your eye levels, right? So maybe straight, maybe little below, right? Not too far, right? Even not above, right? That is not right. Okay, these are the two important points related to monitor. But I also told you that the brightness, changing the brightness also important, right? So you can take the point also, because sometimes in the environment, right, your environment is dark, sometimes it's very bright, so you have to keep adjusting the brightness, right? So I explained that also, right? Then I explained about keyboard handling, right? So keyboard has to be handled softly, right? You cannot press the keys hardly. That is important. And also, whenever you use keyboard, make sure your wrist is straight, right? You cannot bend your wrist, right? The wrist must be straight. That is another important thing, right? And also your keyboard position is important, right? Make sure your keyboard is parallel to your elbow, right? Maybe parallel, maybe little below to elbow, right? These are the things which we discussed, right? Okay, let's continue. Okay, so we discussed about these things. Okay, keyboard, right? Then come to the sitting position, right? Your seating or your sitting position, that is important, right? Listen to me. So first of all, you have to lean on the backrest of your chair, right? If it is a chair, you know there is a back component, right? So you have to lean on that. That back component is called backrest. So always lean on the backrest. So because your shoulders must be straight, right? You must be relaxed. So you must lean on the backrest. That is important, right? That is my first point. So that's why a proper chair is important. Okay. Then when you are sitting on a chair, make sure your feet are on the floor, right? Your feet should touch the floor, touch the ground. Your feet cannot hang on the air, right? It must be on the ground, because even you can imagine, assume that you are sitting on a chair, your feet are not on the ground. So what happens? Your feet are not on the ground. Definitely, you can feel the pain mostly in the back side of your legs, right? In your back side of the legs, you can simply feel the pain. But when you keep your feet on the floor, on the ground, it is not right. You cannot any uncomfortable things. It looks like a comfortable sitting. So always keep your feet on the ground. But if your legs are too small to touch the ground, don't worry. Keep a small object under the feet, right? It may be a small box, it may be a small any other objects. So you may see some food rest. There is a small component called food rest. It may be a wooden one or maybe a plastic one. So there is a small object for supporting your feet. That is called food rest. So keep it. Any objects, right? If you have any firm and strong object, better keep it. It may be a book, it may be a box, it may be anything it is. So since you keep them under the feet, you can be confident, and your legs are not hanging around, so there is no pain at all, right? So that is important. Feet must be on the ground, because as users, you can't expect that all the time that your feet on the ground. If you see, computers can be used by even a child, small, maybe a child with 5 or 6 years. Yes, so you cannot expect that kid to touch the floor. So in that instance, better keep an objects like this. Okay, right. Then your legs should be vertical to the ground. Whenever you are sitting, right, make sure your legs must be perpendicular, must be vertical to the ground, right? So that is important. Not only remember, these things are not only for computer users. Even when you are sitting at a chair, right, anywhere, you have to follow this. Assume you spend maybe 5 or 6 hours in a school. You always sit there. So if you keep such things, right, especially the feet, especially this vertical to ground, your legs should be vertical. But rather than keeping your legs as vertical, some of you may keep your legs straight, right? You can stretch your legs. That is not good. If you stretch your legs all the time, there should be pains in the leg, right? So this may be the proper way to sit. When you are sitting, make sure the legs should be vertical to the ground, right? So looks like this. So if you are sitting, right, assume you are sitting, so your legs, assume this is a chair, right? This is a chair. This is your leg. So this leg must be perpendicular, right? There should be a 90 degree. right? There should be a 90-degree. Have you understood? This is the person sitting. This is the foot. Here I'm talking about this. This is the leg. So here there should be a 90-degree found. So when there is a 90-degree, it means the legs are perpendicular, right? So this is important. So it is important rather than keeping like this. So sometimes you may keep your feet like this. This is not right. And if you keep your legs right like that, so here more than 90 degrees, so it is not good. Even don't keep your legs like this, right? Less than 90, maybe 45 degrees or something. That is not good. There may be muscles cramp or other things possible. So it is a good practice. Always keep. Okay. Right. So then your computer chair must have height adjustable facility. Right. So your chair must have height adjustable facility. This is important because, as I discussed earlier on the other day, right, in the last class, I told you that the monitor should be straight to eye level or little below to eye level. So remember, anybody, it may be a tallest person or shortest person, anyone can use a computer. But as we discussed earlier, computer table or height of the computer table cannot be changed, right? Computer table has a standard height. You cannot change it. So if a tall person sits at the particular chair, you know, his eyes are too much above the eye level, sorry, above the monitor, because he is too tall. So now this person has to come down, right? So definitely the computer chair the height of the computer chair has to be reduced. So if you use a normal chair, it is impossible. So if you use a computer chair with the height adjustable facility, the tall person can go a little down and keep his eyes straight to monitor. Have you understood? So assume now at that particular chair, a short person sits. Now when a short person sits at the chair, definitely his eyes are little below, not below, little below, below to eye level, sorry, below to monitor. You are too small, you are sitting at the chair, now you are unable to see the monitor because your eyes are below to the monitor. Now you have to increase the height, right? So again, which comes to action, this is the height adjustable chair. So always height adjustable chair is must. Even whenever you use a computer at your school or anywhere, before you start working, try adjusting the height, right? As soon as you go and sit at the chair, this is the one that you have to do. This is your first duty. Arrange the height of the chair. Because if the height is wrong, you cannot. But for someone who spends 40 minutes during the lab, it's not an issue, right? Because you spend maybe 40, maybe 1 hour. During 1 hour period, you know, the height may not be an issue, right? You can use any height. But imagine if you are using 7 hours, 6 hours continuously, these things must be, right? These things can do big damages, right? So it is important. Okay, last one. Shoulders should be relaxed, right? So whenever you are sitting at a chair, make sure your shoulders are not tight. You keep them as relaxed, right? So relaxed shoulders is also important. Okay, right? So have a look at these things. So these are the things, sorry, these are the things which I talked about. So in the first picture, I'm trying to show this one, right? Footrest. Look here. This computer user uses a footrest to keep his feet on the floor, because his feet are not on the floor. He is unable to keep them on the floor. So he keeps a footrest. That is of course correct, right? Look here. Look at this lady. So now she is leaning on the backrest. This is backrest, right? So she is comfortably sitting there because she is leaning on the backrest, right? This is a proper position, right? Then look here. So when you are sitting, your legs must be perpendicular to the floor. This is your leg, right? So look at the position. You can find a 90-degree there, right? So this is important. Okay, right. So in this picture, I'm trying to show that height adjustable facility. Now see, there is a kid using the computer. She is not tall at all, but now she has reduced the height and keep the monitor straight to eye level, right? So it is a good, better position, right? It is because of his, her computer chair, right? It has the height adjustable facility. Okay, so these are the things related to sitting position. These are very important, often asked in exams, right? They may show a picture like this and ask you to find them, right? So in order to find the mistake, you have to remember these correct postures, right? Okay, right. Then we will move to mouse. So we talked about monitor, then we talked about keyboard position. Finally, at last, we talked about sitting position. Now, mouse. So mouse is not the biggest thing that you can understand because we already talked about keyboard. So things which we discussed under keyboard may be related to mouse too. So that's the reason why I told you that these are not important, not big, right? Okay, look, first one. You have to keep the mouse softly, right? Don't hold the mouse tightly, because if you keep the mouse tightly, your palms and fingers may be affected because you are continuously using the mouse. There may be 5 hours, 6 hours to be spent. So if you keep the mouse as tight, some parts of your palm or maybe fingers can be affected, right? So hold softly, that is important. Okay, that is the first one. Second, don't bend the wrist when using mouse. This point was already discussed under keyboard. So doesn't matter keyboard or mouse, keep your wrist as straight. Okay, if your wrist is bent, there may be issues. There may be problems not only in the wrist, maybe in the palm, right? So that is important. And also another important thing, you have to keep your keyboard and mouse closer, right? Both mouse and keyboard should be closer because all the time you have to switch between mouse and keyboard. You have to work with mouse. Maybe after some time you have to go to the keyboard. So you have to use the same hand, because on a keyboard, or when you are using keyboard, you use both hands. So one of the hands should be used for mouse. So if the mouse is little far, definitely you have to move your hands here and there, right? That may affect your arms, right? So that is not good. So keep them as much as possible, right? So these are the things related to mouse. Okay, so these are the safety measures when you use a computer, right? So we have taken them as categories. Okay, before we move to the other one, okay, better we discuss this one, then I will take the other one, right? So now we talked about safety steps or safety measures related to various aspects, related to monitor, related to keyboard, related to sitting position, and at last related to mouse. But apart from these precautions, apart from these safety measures, you have to follow some other safety things when you are using computer for longer period. Longer period means using a computer maybe for 6 hours, maybe 7 hours, maybe more than 7 hours. This can be called longer period of time. So using a computer for 2 hours, maybe 1 hour, 3 hours, it's not the longest time. But if you are sitting in front of a monitor for 7 hours, 6 hours, definitely this must be longer. So when you use a computer for a longer period, you have to follow some of the additional things. Of course, you have to follow all these things which we already discussed, right? So assume that you want to use computer for 10 hours. So when you want to use computers for 10 hours, definitely you must follow the safety things which we already discussed. Those things related to monitor, keyboard, mouse, right? Everything is must. Apart from those safety things, you need to follow some of the additional things, right? Those additional things are listed here, right? So let's take the first one. Look here, take a break in between work, walk short distances. So you are using computers for 7 hours, maybe 8 hours. So break your work in a regular interval, maybe for once for an hour, maybe for half an hour. Break your work and have a walk. So if you are working in a home, at your home, break your work and take a small short walk inside of your home, maybe inside of your compound. Take a walk, because you need some sort of rest, not only for your eyes, for the entire body. So that may be okay. That may be a safety measure for a person who uses computer for a longer period, right? Next, take a break in between work, have short meals. That is also, of course. So break your work and have short meals, not big meals, right? Because you are working in a computer, you don't waste your energy, right? So you are sitting there. So it is not good to have heavy meals. Take short meals, right? So you may take a biscuit or some other things, maybe a cup of tea. So have them. So if you have them, you can be relaxed, right? So this is only for the people who use the computer for a longer period. If you are using for 30 minutes or 1 hour, you don't need to take such meals or cup of tea or other things. Okay, right. Then, yes, of course, you can chat. You can have a chat with your friend, right? So if your friend is around you, you can chat it or make a call and have a chat, because you need to relax. So that is, of course, a good activity, right? So you can chat with the others. Maybe you can chat you can chat with your family members, maybe friends. It is okay, right? That is another one. Finally, this is important. Often you have to take your eyes from the monitor, right, and see some other beautiful things or other natural things. So you may see anything, but often take off your vision from the monitor and see other things. Even you can blink your eyes. That is important, right? All the time, whenever you use computer, try blinking. So that is always good for your eyes. Okay, blink and take the eyes off the screen and view the outside environment. So take the vision off and see some other things, right? Like pictures or maybe outside sceneries or anything you can see, because you are focusing on a screen which emits light and everything. So that may not be good for your eyes. So do this not once or not twice, regularly, right? Regularly do them. So these are some of the other safety things for the people who use computer for a longer period of time. Okay, right. Right. So now look at these pictures. Right. So I hope that everyone can see them clearly. So can you tell me, so look at the first picture, or please look at the first picture. Can you tell me the right position or right way in using the keyboard? Look, because in the first picture, the user is using the keyboard. Tell me which is the right way to use this. Is it option A or is it option B? Anyone can answer. Which is the right one? Look at the picture one. Which is the right one? Angushana.
B, sir.
B. So tell me what is wrong with A? What is wrong with A?
The palm is very touching the line, sir.
Any other problem? Okay, I ask another one. Induja, what's wrong with the first picture? Look at the number 1 and tell me what's wrong with picture A. I'm asking Induja.
The person is bending the wrist.
Okay, very good. Right, that's the reason here. Maybe the wrist is the most important factor, but here the wrist is not straight. He is bending the wrist. That can't be good, right? This is not the right way. Look here, he is bending, but here the wrist is straight. So the option B is the correct answer. Okay, right. Now have a look at the second picture. Right, second picture. Siva Nigedanan, which is right? In the second picture, which is right?
Yes, sir.
The question is for Siva Nigedanan.
Yes, sir.
A or B, which is right? Is it A?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A.
Krishnavi. Krishnavi. Aksaran. Aksaran.
A, sir.
A. Right. So in the second picture, right, A is the right option. You got it. Because in B, look here, the wrist position is again wrong. He cannot keep the wrist as it is, right? But here, look here, the wrist is straight, right? So he keep the wrist as straight, but here again there is a bend, right? He's bending. So option B is wrong. Option A is correct. Okay, right. Right. So now or look at the third picture. This one, right? The computer user. So there may be some problems, there may be some things which are not followed by this person, right? He doesn't follow some of the things, right? Can you tell me one problem, right? Who is it? Dharmiga. Can you tell me one issue or one thing which he doesn't follow? Dharmiga.
He's not leaning onto his chair.
Okay, that may be one, right? Yes, he is not leaning. Look here, he is bending his right shoulder. So here it is not on the backrest. Even look at the backrest; it's too small. So he is not leaning on. That is okay, right? That is one. Okay, there may be some other. Let me ask another one. Saravanan. Tell me one more.
So leg is not perpendicular.
Okay, right. The legs are not perpendicular. Look here. He is not properly keep his legs, right? So that is of course right. So not vertical. Legs are not vertical. Legs are not perpendicular, right? Another one. Look here. Rex Harris. Rex Harris.
Sir, the distance between his eye and the monitor is less.
Okay, right, okay, but I tell you one thing. Sometimes, right, sometimes on a picture like this, you cannot exactly say the distance is correct or wrong. Sometimes in a picture it is too hard, but maybe in this picture we can, because it seems that the person is too closer to monitor. But again, I tell you, for exams, such things are very, very tough to identify. But even if you write an answer like this for this diagram, definitely we have to accept, right? So your answer can be okay, but sometimes it is tough to, recognize. So okay, the distance between the eye and the monitor seems to be too small, right? Okay, I want one more thing. Who is it? Aarti? Aarti. Aarti, yes. Dilanga? Dilanga. Abhinesh N Abhinesh.
Sir, his elbows are not perpendicular.
Yes, that is also okay. The elbows are not, parallel. They are not straight. He is bending, right? So wrist, maybe elbow, everything okay, right? Wrist also bending. Elbow is not parallel to keyboard. Look here, keyboard is here, but he is keeping his elbow somewhere there. So they are not good. So as a whole, this picture is not a proper one. He is violating so many things, right? Not only feet, not only hands, so he can easily be affected, right? So if you do such thing, definitely you will be affected. Okay, so hope these are understood, and this type of questions can be asked in exams. Okay, right? So these are the health issues. Okay. So before I go to another issue, let me take one more thing. I forgot to mention this because this is not included in our new syllabus, but often asked in the past papers, right? So even though it is not included in our syllabus, this can be asked in the exam, right? So it can be a legal issue. Sometimes people take this as ethical issue. Doesn't matter. You don't need to bother. It can be legal, sometimes it can be ethical, but it is important. Piracy, software piracy. So it's very simple. Software piracy means copying or distributing licensed softwares without purchasing, right? I repeat it, copying or stealing or distributing a licensed software, which means a commercial software, without purchasing that. This is called piracy or software piracy. This is a criminal offense. You can be punished by the court. Assume your friend, right? Assume your friend has purchased a licensed Microsoft Office, right? He has purchased a licensed software, a Microsoft Office software. Now you copied that software from him. He has purchased, right? He paid the money and purchased that. The purchase means paying the money, right? But you copied that particular software from your friend. Now the software that you have is a copied software. In other terms, or in a technical term, I can call that as pirated software, right? Pirated software. So this pirated software cannot be used because the action that you did is an illegal action. because that your friend is the one who paid. So he paid only for one software. If it is 5,000, he paid 5,000 for one software, one CD, which means he is the only person who can use that. We call it as single user. That product, that particular software is sold for one user. But now you copied that one from your friend and now you try to use that. This is not legal, right? The action that you did is illegal, right? So this is called piracy. The software that you have copied from your friend is called pirated software. Right? So pirated software also one of the issue created by ICT. So look, if ICT is not developed, we never copy the licensed software because ICT is not developed. You know, there is no licensed softwares, no computers, no needs. So we never do like them. But when ICT is improved, we have so many needs. So inevitably we try to copy that. This is wrong. See, nowadays it is often said that almost all of us, right? Almost all of us are thieves, right? All of us. You are thief. If I am a thief, right? Everyone becomes as thief because all of us copied licensed software and use in our computers. Can any one of you honestly say that all the softwares in your hard disk or in your computer were purchased? Can anyone honestly say that all of your softwares in your hard disk are purchased? Never. I cannot tell you that all the softwares which are installed in my hard disk were purchased. I cannot, because I copied. Not only me, it is you, it is X, it is Y, everyone. So the development of ICT made all of us as thieves. Right? So we don't feel that we are thieves because we feel that the copying is not the big thing or not a criminal thing. Of course, it's a criminal thing. You can be punished by the court, right? So remember, piracy is an issue which is created by ICT. Okay, hope you understood that one, right? So this can be taken as legal issue, even if you won't take it as ethical issue, right? I missed it. Try to relate this with the legal issue. Okay, so but that is not inserted in your book. That's why I also forget that. But I realized that it is important because it was asked in the past papers so many times, right? That's why I took it again. Okay, right. So let's take the other type of issue. So far, again, just a quick recap. We are talking about issues. We finished legal issues, ethical issues, environmental related issues, social issues, physical and logical issues. At last, we have completed health issues. It may be the last issue, right? This is the last issue, malware, or sometimes called malicious software, right? Malware, this is always known as malware, but this is also known as malicious software. Okay, so first of all, I have to explain the term malware, right? You know the term software, right? You know what software is. This is very, very familiar. So generally we use softwares, right? Generally we use softwares for the benefits, for fulfilling our needs, so for getting some advantages. That may be the reason why we use softwares. But this type of a software, this is also a software. Of course, it's a software. Malware is a software. But this kind of a softwares never give any advantages, any benefits for the computer users to the computer users. Rather than giving benefits, they do some bad things. They do some harmful things to your computer. So in short, malware is a program, or malware is a small software which can do some damages, which can do some harmful activities to computers, right? This is a simple idea that you have to get from the word malware, right? So malware is a program, it's a small program, but it does damages. Like a game, you know, if it is a game, it does good thing because we spend our time leisurely. So that is, of course, the game's beauty. If you are using an MS Word, that is good. It does some good things for us. It helps us to prepare the documents. Similarly, malware also a small program, similar to MS Word or similar to game, but that never gives us good things. It always gives us bad things, right? Okay. So there may be different types of malware, right? There are so many types of malware, but rather than taking, before taking their types, taking them, I want to tell you some of the harmful activities which can a malware do, right? Malware can do harmful activities, but we should understand some of the activities or some of the effects of this malware, right? So let's take them first. Right, look here, I have listed. So these are very common behaviors of malware. Look at the first one. Efficiency of the computer is decreased, right? Your computer has an efficiency, has a speed, but if malware comes to your computer, definitely you can feel a decrement in the efficiency, right? Your computer speed becomes becomes low, even efficiency is affected, right? So that is one of the behavior of a malware. Efficiency is decreased. Then unable to install software in the computer. See, if your computer is infected by a malware, if a malware comes to your computer, even though you have enough space in your hard disk, you are unable to install any programs. You have a computer in a good condition, you have enough free space in your hard disk, but you are unable to install that. It may be because of malware. So malware can prevent you in installing, right? Later we will discuss. This is another one. Next one, files are corrupted and deleted, right? Sometimes some malware can corrupt your files, sometimes can delete them from the hard disk, right? So you may keep some files in your hard disk, sometimes they may be damaged, right? That file is there, but you are unable to open that, right? That's the meaning of corruption. But sometimes your file is completely removed from the hard disk, that is deletion, right? So some of the serious malwares can do that. Look there, then new unknown files are created. Without knowing yourself, some of the new files are created in your hard disk. They are unknown files, they are useless files, but they are created in your hard disk. What happens if the unknown files are created in your hard disk? You know, your hard disk has a limited capacity. Already that hard disk has your files, right? Meaningful files. So there may be free space. But now what happens? These unnecessary files, these unwanted files are saved or are created in the hard disk, which means they can waste your space. So when they are created in numbers, maybe hundreds or maybe even thousands, you know, the storage space can be reduced, can be wasted. That is also another disaster, right? So this is there. Then unable to open the software. You even some of you may may have these experiences, right? If you are a computer user for a longer period, definitely I know these things were experienced even by you, right? So unable to open your software is there, your software is installed, but you are unable to open that. When you click that software, it never opens. It may be because of malware, right? I use the word maybe because there may be some other factors to the reasons, right? But this is always possible, right? So malware prevents programs in opening, right? Last, weaken the computer hardware. You cannot see this all the time, but this is possible. Your hardware components can become weak, right? They especially your memories, random access memories, right? So they work with high efficiency, but when these malwares are attacked, sometimes they become weak, right? So these are the most common threats a computer faces when malware spread or something. Okay, right. Right. So now hereafter we have to take the types of malware. I already told you that there are number of malwares available. Some of them are very common. Some of them are rare. Some of them are very dangerous. Some of them are mild. We have to take everything, right? So take the first one. So I have listed some of the examples. Have a look at them. First one, computer virus. We will discuss, right? I'm showing the names first. Later I will explain one by one. Remember, this title is very, very important in exams. In almost all the past papers, questions came for a reasonable marks, right? Especially in malware. So we have to understand them clearly. Computer worms, right? Computer worms. Trojan horse, adware, bots, hijacker, phishing, not phishing, phishing, P-H-I-S-H-I, phishing, spam, right? All of them are malwares. All these things can do bad things for our computer, right? So we have to understand them one by one. So starting from computer virus, right? So let's see, listen to me. Let me explain that. So first of all, computer virus, right? Computer virus is a malware. You should understand that one. It's a software which does some bad things for us, right? Okay. So what exactly the term virus? So virus is a small program like a game or like your MS Word. MS Word is big, but I'm comparing because to get an idea. So virus is a small program which has the ability to replicate. Don't forget this word, right? It's a small program which has the ability to replicate itself. Replicate itself means when virus comes to our computer, it comes as alone. One virus comes. But as soon as it comes to your computer, it forms multiple copies, which means it creates multiple viruses. Similar to him, it creates many things. Even if a virus is in your computer, it is dangerous. What happens if it creates so many copies? It's too dangerous, right? So that is the most important characteristic of a virus. Replicating itself, right? It has the ability to replicate into multiple copies. Don't forget that, right? At the same time, I must mention one more thing about virus. Virus cannot stay alone. A virus cannot exist alone in your computer. It needs some other applications to survive. So when virus comes to your computer, it cannot live alone in your computer. It needs some other program to live or to stay or even to hide. So it comes to your folder. Assume you have folders in your computer. You know what folders are, right? So you have folders in your computer. So when virus comes to your computer, it survives in the folder, or it survives in other applications, right? Other applications like games or other applications, it survives because it doesn't have the ability to stay and work alone. That's why it finds some other application for stay that, right? This is important. Okay, have a look at the descriptions which I have given. Have a look at this. A computer virus is a malicious code that replicates, don't forget this phrase, right? Always remember, it replicates by copying itself to another program. So right, like I mentioned earlier, it has the ability to replicate, and also it needs some other program for residing, for staying, right? It often attaches itself to another existing program. Okay, so when someone asks about virus, make sure you give these 2 points. What are the 2 points to be remembered? Replication, right? It has the ability to replicate itself. That is the first point. And also it has the ability, sorry, it doesn't have the ability to survive alone. Definitely it needs some other program to survive or to stay. These are the 2 points to be remembered, because look here, look at the first 3 malwares which I mentioned: virus, worm, Trojan horse. Virus, worm, Trojan horse. All these 3 malware almost similar, right? Their behaviors, their way of attacking, right? Their harmfulness, almost similar. There may be some differences, but I'm taking them as similar. So if you remember these 2 points for virus, it may be easy for remembering them for the other 2, worms and Trojan horse, right? So remember these 2 points: spreading alone, sorry, staying. It doesn't stay alone, it needs other programs, and also it has the ability to replicate. Okay, this is virus. I tell you one more thing. I didn't include that here on the slide, but you must remember, virus is always spread using internet downloads. So virus can come to your computer when you download some things from untrusted websites, right? So you can download things from website where you never visited, right? So when you download something, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes there is a possibility for virus to enter into your computer. So you have to be very careful in that instance. And also, the other most common way is removable storage devices, such as pen drive, right? Floppy disks, CDs, so external hard disks. Because when you use external hard disk in an infected computer, virus infected computer, your external hard disk can easily be affected with virus. So if virus comes to your external hard disk, when you use external hard disk in your computer, right, your computer also affected. So always be careful when you use external removable storage devices, right? Especially pen drive, external hard disks, some other things, even memory cards. You must be very careful, right? So these are the ways in which the virus can come to your computer, right? Remember these things. I don't mention, I already told you to take some important points, right? You have to note them down. Then only you can have a meaningful study, right? I cannot keep, talking all the time. You have to take some of the important things, and often you can break the things and ask the questions and make this as meaningful, right? Okay. Look. Right. So virus is right. Then go to the worm. Right. Worms or computer worms. Right. Look. So worms may be very harmful than viruses, because one of the most important characteristic of a worm is, yes, it has the ability to replicate. That is always okay, but it has the ability to stay alone. It doesn't need any other program to attach itself. You know, virus needs some other programs like a game or other programs to survive, to attach. But here, this worm never ever needs such things. It stays alone, it keeps alone as a file and do bad things. So it is very important. You can be asked to compare virus and worms. If someone asks you to compare virus and worms, take this point as important one. Virus never stays alone. It needs another program to survive. But here it survives alone. Okay, then a computer worm is similar to computer virus, but unlike a virus, it does not need to attach itself to existing program, right? It doesn't need any other program to attach. Okay, right. I told you that worm is harmful than virus because it always focus on the computer networks, right? Because it has the ability to stay alone. It doesn't need any other program. So when worm comes to your computer, right, it can identify the computer networks. As you, okay, let's have a small imagination. So assume there are some computers connected in a room, maybe 10 computers. So when a worm comes to one computer through internet, assume a worm came to one computer through internet. So if it comes to the computer, one computer, it has the ability to spread along with the network. Through the network, it can spread, and even it can break down the computer network, right? It can spread through the network, which means if you have 10 computers, it can go to all the 10 computers alone, right? Alone, not with the other programs or something. It can go alone and do bad things for the other computers. So often it focuses on computer network to spread. It finds the computer network and spread to all the computers, but not virus. Virus never does like that. The virus comes to your computer with pen drive and internet downloading or something. But here it has the ability to travel along with the computer networks. Look at my second point. Worms may send copies of themselves to other computers across network connections. So across the computer networks, it has the ability to travel. So this is too dangerous. That's why, that may be the reason why it gets the name, right? This malware gets the name worm. It is the reason of this, right? So look here, this worm, you know worm, right? In our environment, you know worm, maybe at a time the worm can be on your wall, on your room wall. Maybe after some time, after a minute or two, you cannot find the worm on the wall. Without making any noise, it moves to another place. Now you can see the same worm on the roof. But after some time, that worm is not found on the roof. Now it may be on the ground. Without making any noise, any sound, is exactly same as this. So it gets the name worm because now a same worm comes to my computer. Without making any symptom or showing any symptom, it slowly moves through the network to another computer. So maybe minutes ago it was in my computer, it found the network and slowly travels along with the network, and now it is in another computer, like the worm which is found in the environment. Have you understood? So that is worm. Okay, so this is the idea. Worm is almost similar to virus, but virus cannot stay alone. It attach itself to another program, but worm can stay alone. The same, similar characteristic. Virus also has the ability to replicate, Even worms also have the ability to replicate, right? Worms can replicate itself, and also virus can replicate itself. That is a similar characteristic. What is the difference? Virus attached with another program for survive, but worm can survive alone. Okay, so these are the things related to virus and worm. So we have Trojan horse and we have other things. We will discuss everything, but try understand. As I said earlier, at the time that you are learning, learn everything clearly, right? So whatever it is, it may be a, theory based or whatever, learn everything clearly without any doubt, right? So if you do so, then they will be in your mind forever, right? So these are the things which we discussed today, because time is always almost up. So if you have any doubt, ask me. I know that none of you have any doubt, right? So it's okay. Hope you all understood. So let's wind up and meet it again, right? Thank you.